Okay, dokies. But did I what? Yes. The answer is yes. Hello. It is I, Stacy. This is part two of many courses. But we're gonna recap on what I did yesterday. So what I did yesterday was explain aces through five. Okay, so for those who was not here, we'll go over it. Aces are like the seeds. Like if you plant a seed in the ground, and then it needs air, water, ground, and then spirit because it's conscious. So then it just like us humans, it develops and then it decides to start growing. So then the twos come out. So it has two leaves and it consciously decides or joins together and then it starts to grow. And then maybe like somebody comes at five and steps on the damn thing or tornado hits and actually just destroys it. So that's a natural force versus invoked force. So now we're at sixes. So we'll go back over that at the end. So sixes is more like a reflection. I'm sorry, relaxation. Or adjustments. Yes, I write terrible. So, I mean, you might need to give it a little bit of fertilizer or trim it a little bit. So, you're looking to see if there's an adjustment in your readings. And then you have sevens. Now, sevens are very important because generally it shows forces transcending movement of the material. Depending on action. So when you see sevens coming up in the reading, you need to look for this. And then what's around it? Reflections, discovery, and wisdom. Okay? So, which, they can be really bad. And eights. Eights, it looks like it's success, right? But it just doesn't really know what to do. So, am I going to flower? Or am I a male and I don't know how to flower, right? So generally it shows a force transcending the plane or material plane and depending on its action. So then eight is solitary success in the matter for the time being. So it looks like it's success, right? But, you have to recognize a recognition, recognizes, I hope I spelled that right, um, and movement. It's still moving. So, it's starting to flower, but am I going to have two flowers or am I going to have three flowers or what the hell am I going to do now, right? So, but so it's possibly leading to, the outcome apart from being itself. It might reseed at this point. Does the flower reseed? Does it go on? So it's not the end. So remember, this is your minor cards, not your major. And then we'll be doing the trumps, which the trumps, it's just mind blowing what you will find in the trump cards. Okay, so nines, it looks like, hey, this is great. So it still has a force. Force is moving, power is stable. So because of that, it restores the firmness of the base. Powerful. But remember, nines are good or evil, right? So remember to look for your nines. Okay, now tens. Tens are like, wow, great. I finally finished my goal. It's the end of it, right? So completion. Finally ended with the goal. Remember, this is whatever question that you're asking. By the way, I hope everybody's doing good. And I think I'm live. Raymond, am I live? Yeah, I see you. Okay. So with the tens, look for the completion or abundance. So, you have abundance. Your goals completed, right? Or mattily, thoroughly, definitely determined, ultimate force. Ultimate force. So did anybody notice that the negative cards, your threes, fives, nines, I'm sorry, 3, 5, 7s, 9s, that other things are affecting. So now with the tens, look for princesses. Because with the princesses, it could be a level change. It means something else has influenced it. So it's a warning. Warning. Be on the lookout. Definitely want to be on the lookout, right? Okay. Also, now with your princess, princes. I hope I spelled that right. By the way, I'm not a teacher and I don't know how to spell again. Okay. So I'm sorry, not the princes. Princes usually represent actual people. Now, I really don't think I spelled that right. Actual people. Of course, of men. Now, I'll get to that. The princes are usually your kings also in some decks. But, okay, knights. Your knights. Very important. They usually represent very young people, of the male sex. And coming or going of a problem or situation. The problem, well, let's put coming or going of the problem. That's directional. So, remember, your knights are either going this way, they're either going that way, they're going that way, or they're just sitting still. We'll get to that in a minute. And so that's very important. Knights and princesses are very important. Okay, now your queens, they actually represent the type of person, like if you're doing a reading for somebody, or you're taking on the characteristics or psychological attributes of that card. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to you, Raymond Ringer? So you better be listening. Okay, so let me read to you again. You better be listening. So listen up. Because we're going to go over the actual suits in a minute. From this book, and this is actually just really based on the Thoth deck, but it's actually of very old book, but it reprinted. So it's actually of the description of it. So listen, we'll go back to the aces. So the aces are the actual seeds. You have four suits. So the 4-2 symbolizes the power of the king or queen adjusting or just uniting or initiating the force. Remember, it's not really fully yeah, like your thought hasn't really developed or the situation. It's like kind of blew it off, but it hasn't really like consciously started to move, acting out. It's not on a material level. So, but before the princes or the princesses are thoroughly brought into action, therefore, do they really generally imply the initiation? So, it really means fertilization, initiating its development. Now, we'll get into each characteristic of the card in a minute. So then 3, realizing its action, owning the prince being produced. So essentially, the symbols on each card, action definitely commended for good or evil. Remember, I said, remember, look for 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s of the actual question that you're asking. Unless you're doing a layout like a 15, the Celtic cross, and they want to know about, hey, if I marry this guy, what's going to be like in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, etc. This is like more like for basic knowledge, okay? And then 4s, perfection, realization, completion, matter being settled or fixed. Now, remember what I was saying about the 2s, 4s, and 8s. I'm sorry, I forgot 6s. Damn, I'm fucking fried. 2s, 4s, 6s, and 8s. It's pretty much power. Remember, power is stable. So the 4s in the characteristics of the cards and the suits, you'll see how it's more power than force. Now, remember, with force, you can try to make somebody move, but the old saying, have you ever tried to lead a horse to water? If they're stubborn and fixated, they're not going to move. Get my point? Same, just with the cards, same way. So 4s are perfection, realization, completion, matter, or being settled or fixed. So am I going to move on or am I going to just die out? This is, whatever the question was. Okay, 5s, opposition, fight, strife, struggle, war, obstacle, the matter at hand, ultimate success or failure is otherwise shroom. Okay, 6s, definite accomplishment. Things are being carried out. You're putting work into it. You're working your ass off. The little flower's growing, and it's about to flower. But generally 7s are force transcending the material plane, and it's like until a crown, which indeed is powerful, but requires one capable of wearing it. The 7s are possible results, which depends on the action taken. They depend much on the symbols that are accompanying around them. Now, 8s, solitary success. Success in the matter for the time being, but not leading to much result apart from the thing itself. 9s, very great fundamental force, executive power, because they restore and firm bases. Powerful for good or evil. Now, 10s, fixed, accumulated, complete force, whether good or bad. The matter is thoroughly definitely determined, ultimately force. So 10s are the end of the matter, right? Okay, so remember, the aces are the seeds. New beginnings. Now, with your aces, clean sheet, listen up. I lost my damn green pen. Okay, there it is. Okay. I'm using reading glasses because I broke my glasses. But anyway, let's go to aces. Okay, so let's see. You have 4 aces. And you have 4 suits. You got your fire. Then you got your water. And then you got your air. It's nice to breathe air. And then you got your material world. Earth, dirt. Understand, Ringer? You there? Are you listening? Yes. Force is something moving. Power is stable. Right? Okay, so you have your four aces, you have your fire. Okay, now with the fire, you have urges and action. Now, the fire one is wands. Now, the key word for wands is the will. Now, when generally dealing with the wands, they're talking about what's going on inside your head or the person that's asking, of course, or the situation at hand. Now, when you see an ace of wands come up, it generally means natural forces. Natural forces. Now, two with water, it generally means, now when it comes up in my readings, usually it's like to redo, refinish, something you've already seen. So I would say that's seen. So if you've seen it, you know it. Can you remember that, Raymond? So now, with the fire one, you would say that you've seen it because it's inside you. It's natural force, so it would be somewhat known. Would it be seen or unseen? It's possibly unseen, but this is the action that you're taking, so it would be known. Do you understand that? Okay, so you have the known and then you have the seen. Remember, with water, it's more of a reflection because you can see yourself as a reflection, right? And it's emotional. So it's more feelings, desires, and beliefs. Feelings, feelings, like the bottom of, I forget that song, but anyway, so you have a more of feelings. It's a more of a desire, urge or desire. Desire. Okay, now with air, now also the key word for believe it or not, for cups would be the soul. I don't know why. I would think that more of wands would be the soul because it's fire, but actually the water sign is. Now air, um, it's the weapons of the mind. I mean, it's remember, swords is more intellectual. So air, you have weapons of the mind, and thinking, and pretty much to make difficulties easier, or thinking it's one of the greatest pleasures of to have this, or the consciousness you're actually thinking of. You think it were, or someone else is thinking it. Gee, if I fuck her up today, what would I get out? If you're at work or something, let me make Nancy look like she did something bad. Somebody's actually fucking with you, so it's more intellectual. Um, or if it's a personal reading, it's more of I'm not going to tolerate this shit. It's more of the ego, really. So it's more of the mind and the ego, right? How dare you step on this or something on, tread on me. But or possibly revenge. And okay, so would that be seen or unseen, known or known? I'm waiting for the answer. So let's think. If it's invoked force, by the way, air is invoked force. It's possibly unseen. So if you happen to see the ace of swords come up, it's invoked forces, so it would be unseen. So heads up on that. Do you understand that? Did you get that? Well, you was wrong. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Unknown. Very good. So it's unseen, unknown. So remember that ace of swords is invoked. Okay, and then you have the last one, pentacles, material ace of wands, which is the most difficulty there is in understanding, especially in this day and age because we have so many material things, right? So the ace of disc, it comes down into the outcomes, accept the most important outcomes to reject them and produce new ones. So the body, substance, feelings. So it could be also health problems, but prosperity and well-being. Prosperity. Yeah, that's not going to work on it. I ran out of room to write. Prosperity and well-being. So, but coins, the two sides, medallions, the influences that we have, heads or tails, ourselves and what it produces and induces, the paths that we discover and those paths that we leave behind, blah, blah, blah. So the ace of sword, the ace of disc would be feelings too, and also substance. So it's a material thing. Substance. And material. Lord of material. So what it produces and harvests, the body or substance, except talents as well as attitudes, the task. Permanent movement, the energy of the earth. So this pretty much definitely earth. So would this one be known, seen, unseen, or seen? Possibly unknown. You forgot to answer that, Ringer. So it is unknown. New beginnings, professionally and physically. So for good or bad, remember, because you got to lay out the cards. So do you understand that? I ripped these out of one book. That's the only thing the book was good for, was that, basically. I also ripped that out. It was basically good. So, okay. So there you have your four aces, which I said the four aces are very good. New beginnings, known or unknown, seen or unseen. Do you understand, Ringer? Yen? Yeah, okay, I got it. Now, let's move on to the twos. You have your wands, cups, swords, disc. Okay. Ow. So basically, hold it. Okay, basically your twos. Hold on with. Okay. Now it's going to be different for different cards, but with the Thoth deck or Thoth deck, um, you have pretty much the Two of Wands. You have the fire. Remember fire, and then you have the water, and then you have this. Now you have to. Yes, you have to. Remember all this when you. You can do just readings one with the minors, and then you can just do readings with trumps. But however, it's best to keep them all together if you want to throw. But if you want to practice, you can do that. Okay, so you have the water, and then you have air, and then you have um, earth. Um, so okay, the Two of Wands is basically represents the energy of fire. Fire is at its best and highest forms. Okay. Now with the Two of Cups, which represents similar the office of water. Okay. So gotta make a note for that. With the Two of Wands is actually like supreme power, and authority. I probably should have went one through from one suit to the other instead of mixing it around because then I'm off subject. So let's do that. Let's just do the wands first because it's the first one. So let's do Two of Wands. Remember the ace is natural force. Can you give me an example of natural force, Ringer? It would be like tornado or there was a major fire in the city, so all the roads shut down. That's an well, it was kind of that would be kind of like mixed, but anyway, you get my point. Like, it's something that you had no control of, so it's kind of like uncontrollable force, which is just like a fire if it gets out of hand. So the Two of Wands, I forgot what the hell I said. Two of Wands was supreme power. And authority. I think I spelled that wrong. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so which is called actually in my deck, it's actually called Dominion. So that pretty much tells you what it means. Three of Wands. My deck is called Virtue. This card actually represents fire and its establishment of primeval energy. The will has been transmitted to and will conceive, prepares, and gives birth to its manifestation. So it's like, is it going to go on or what's going to happen? So remember I said uh, the the threes, fives, sevens are pretty much forces. So is it going to go on? Movement. And then you have the four wands. And now with the fours usually means fixed, stable anyway. But with this four of wands, this card really represents which increasing the scope of the original will. Limitations bears itself in the seeds of disorder. So pretty much is there disorder or is it going on? So still movement. So then you have the five of wands, which my cards would be shit, I skipped the page. Strife, which that pretty much tells you what the hell that card's about, right? This card pretty much is kind of one that you got to think about it. Fighting, something interfering. You still there? So now the six of wands. You see how like the twos, the fours, you know, the even versus the odd. You get it? Okay, so it'll go on till the end, like till level 10. But mostly you have your conflicts of natural forces with the um wands. This one's pretty much a lot Jupiter and Leo. So I mean, it's pretty much implies benediction or harmony of beauty. It's there in the arrangement, orderly arranged. So it's more like it's fixated, but in the arrangements. Then you have velour. Usually it represents what your soul is really based on. It's like I have values and things. I will not do that. I mean, I can't stand people that spit on sidewalks. I mean, it's against my nature. See, it's just something in you. So I mean, it's pretty much um, thrown into like disorder, but balanced through it diminishing or commonplace. It's I mean, it's more like your backbone of things. Okay, now the eight of wands. Well, let's put down um your your values, and then the eight of wands would be swiftness. Now, oops, sorry, eight of wands. Now, when my card swiftness usually comes up that it's sudden. It's like a burst of force. So it's like that could be like electricity at its highest, right? So the vision of pure light, if that makes sense. So in other hands, it's like electric energy. It has created an intelligible form. So it's the lightning storm. It's I mean, it's like pretty scary, right? It's just intense. So it's not only still in movement, even though it's uh, um, even though it's an even number, it's high in electricity. So, or and also there's electricity in your body. You know, your chi. Like it could represent like if you got into a fight and a eight shows up, it's like, oh my god, he's really. I mean, he's just ready to go. Right? It's intense. energy. So let's just put intenseness. If I knew how to spell it, intense. All right, so Nine of Wands. Okay, Nine of Wands in my deck is called strength. Now, I mean, it pretty much tells you what it's about. Strength. I mean, is it still going to go on, or did it cool down? Did water come and put the damn flame out, right? So, what else is coming into your cards, like, whatever the next card is. So, I mean, it's definitely strength when it's been intense, values, and still moving force. So, and then you have ten of Wands, which is a very, very complicated card. Let's see. Mine would be opposition. I mean, this could be like, oh my God, this motherfucker went to jail because he's done flipped out, done went to so and so's house, and then this happened, and I don't know. It got so intense. He picked up a brick and hit the guy in the head with it. Now his little stupid ass would be in prison. So Ten of Wands is pretty much a very active card in lust of the result. It will devour itself in the configuration of if it's been invoked. So, I mean, if this was put into action, this is the outcome of it. I mean, total shitness. So, Ten of Wands, I mean, it's just total strength and opposition. So, opposition. Complete outcome of possibly like your trump card, the ruins. I'm sorry, my nose is itching for some damn reason. Okay, so it's like complete energy out of control. It's but it's been finished. Someone had to put it out, but it's we're not even possibly put out. I would look for like whatever cards are coming next to it, possibly a level change, and the cops weren't called. But usually, it's just to the point where, this, when the Ten of Wands comes up, definitely be careful. But pertaining to your question, now, if it was a question is my aunt going to make it through the operation? Yeah, look at the other cards. And then if the Ten of Wands comes up, there's complications. But, however, it's finished because it's reached that point where the fire or the candle eventually has to burn out, right? Candles behind it. So I hope that works for you with the wands. Are you still there, Raymond? Did you fall asleep? Rigger? I am live, right? Because I don't know where everyone else is. But then again, if they were in California or something, the time's different, right? Okay, so let's move to the cups. Now, the cups are very hard to do because they're... Huh?
The replies are like running late or something.
It's not active?
No, it is. It's just my internet is like weird.
Mine's not even moving. I don't know what's going on. No, it's not moving at all.
Because it's been like a good 30 minutes. It's going live and everything.
Well, I'll get on it. I mean, whether they watch or not.
I was going to say, why don't we continue tomorrow or something?
Well.
Because it's been a good 30 minutes.
Well, I'm going to finish anyway because I don't feel like doing a video of this and uploading it. I still have the Trumps to do and the rest of it.
Aren't the Trumps a little more complicated?
Yes, the Trumps are much more complicated.
Do that tomorrow.
Well, I still have 3 more suits to do.
I mean,
but you got to go back to the basics of what I first said about the movement, force, or fixated, or movement.
Yeah, that's true.
So can you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. What else did I want to go over? I mean, also with the cups, if you had the Ace of Cup, like I said, it's like beauty, refinement, to do over again. So it would be like more known, but still emotional. Um, and then you have your twos. So the twos, the Two of Cups is love. So usually with the Two of Cups, it means the number two referring to the will. This card might really be renamed to the Lord of Love. So, normally when you see the Two of Cups come up, it means like a relationship or so. Now, if you're not doing a relationship question, it means that something's combined into it, right? Combining of more than one. So, two is also still in movement, but it's fixated with another, so more like a pair. Um, Harmony and intense joy and ecstasy. So, I mean, that's a pretty good feeling. So emotionally, it's like harmony. Okay, the Three of Cups would basically be combination of forms of energy beginning to possibly and somewhat mysteriously ideas. So could there be a third coming into the situation or two plotting together, right? Seems enjoyed but kind of distrusted. Remember, it's a negative, so it would be more like into uh, negative thoughts. So is it enjoyed? This is Three Cups abundance, but still there's abundant and something there, so it's still growing. So it's growing, but it's kind of resisting. I don't even know how to spell resisting. So it might be kind of distrusting. So if the three came up in a reading, is that a warning to you? Yes. So Four Cups would be luxury. Yes, I'd like to have some money, like massage on my back. But referring to the fours, you also have fixated. Remember, it's power. So it's more like a dead stop, blind alley. So, but it could be the matter of, depending on the question, it's more like it's the curse of limitation or restriction. Limited or restriction. Like you can get this done, but not that. Remember, fours are fixated in a box, a square. So fives of cups, we know fives have a bad rap, right? So with the fives, it's pretty much like evil omen of certain things, postponements or 2 hours or more, and then this happens, and so let's just say it's more like a disappointment or just tears, disruption. So um, disruptions, disappointments. Poor five. So, and then you have Six of Cups. Drink time. I'm gonna have a cigarette break in a minute. So, with the Six of Cups, it is a pleasure. So let's say that the title of the card pretty much is the highest sense of well-being, harmony of natural forces without effort or strength, complete satisfaction. So when you see Six Cups comes up, now if you're doing a relationship reading, that's pretty damn good. Complete satisfaction. Now, if you want to kill somebody, you got away with it, that would be the Six Cups. Or I wish so and so dead, and he's dead now. Right? So the Seven of Cups. Now, you see how the plant's still building. You have debauchery. One of my favorite cards. Oh, debauchery. Now, you know the meanings of these cards. It still goes into more detail, but I'm just giving you the basics. So, debauchery, it pretty much tells you what it is: shameful secrets and guilty consciousness. That pretty much sums it up. Shameful. Gotta hide that. And guilty. That's a terrible emotional feeling. Oopsie. So, Seven of Cups come up. I said, remember, you always look for the 3, 5, 7s, the 2s, 4s, and 6s. And it pretty much tells you what the bad feeling is. So, you really don't want to feel 3, 5s, and 7s. Shameful, guilt. I mean, it's terrible when you have that feeling emotionally in you, right? And then you have the 8s. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put 9 and 10 in here right on this page. 8 of Cups, indolence. It's pretty much compared to the last card represents the opposite. Complementary error. It's more like, oh God, thank God that didn't happen, right? So, I guess we'll leave it as it's still water is dark and muddy, but you know it's still like not that bad. I mean, it's still there, but it's like empty. So it's like emptiness. And then you have 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups is happiness, which is completely changed from your your 3s, 5s, 7s, 8s. So we're now, how did 9 turn into happiness when it's a forcible card, right? So the 9 of Cups is happiness. They're arranged and it's filled up again, and so, but what does it exactly mean? It means it strengthened itself again. It just like it found like something that said, "Come on, man, I got to move from this." So it's still movable, but yet not completely fulfilled and ended. It could be, but unpleasant aspects, and even if it's dangerous, but it's more like running over ordered banquet of delight, true wisdom, self-fulfillment, and perfection of happiness. So, I mean, it's like it's still running over, it's still in movement, and but the true wisdom hasn't really been fulfilled. So it's still missing something. It's still not fulfilled. And then you have 10 of Cups. Now the cups are completely arranged in a great order, and then you have all your ducks in a row. And then it's 10 of Cups. So it finally fulfilled it to the point where no disturbances do. Completely arranged in order, which Ten of Cups is a good card. Okay, so then we move on to the Ace of Swords. Now, the Swords gets into some heavy crap. Now, remember, I was just telling you the basics. So, my hand's itching. So, there you have it. So, we'll leave off at the Swords and start with the Ace of Swords. And then I can go into more details about each one. So this one is the energy of air. It is more invoked. So it's, you remember, it's air and it's invoked. Something's just gonna mess that shit up, right? So here it comes. It's pure. It's actually, but still light. Pure light. Brainstorm. Not compared to the natural force of Ace of Wands. So pretty much when you see the Ace of Swords comes up, it's either known or unknown, seen or unseen. And we already went over that, but let's go back to the two. Blaze of light, dispersing dark clouds of the mind, though. Pretty interesting. Okay, the Two of Swords would be peace, but how is it going to be at peace when it's a conflicting situation, right? So, Two Swords. You're at peace, but you really don't like it, right? Peace. So the nature is peaceful. Moreover, like between them, they regulate the energy of the swords, but yet it's still a block. It's like this, an X, right? So you have an X, but it's a even number, so it still has power. So does that make sense? Because I'm not sure. It's more like resulting in conflict, though. I mean, it's like it represents generally shaking up and conflict, but it's joining together with something else. So it appears. So it's manifesting. So it's like. And maybe it's something you made up, though. I mean, it's like that I'm sick of that bitch. I know she's plotting against me, but it's in your mind. That's even though you're at peace, I'll just watch her. It's what is she up to, or why does my neighbor do that? It's still at peace, but at a distance. So, but. Now with your swords, remember it's more ego. Ego's at hand, but it's peaceful. But it's still representing balance, though, in the light. So it's still representing balance. It's like I know it, but let me just not think no more about it. It's not. It's still at a level 2. So then you have the Three of Swords. So now with the Three of Swords, you have sorrow. Now this is a terrible card when it comes up with certain other cards because it's sorrow. Now with sorrow, you have still movement, but it wants to just destroy or put an impact on things. So it's like sorrow, sadness, separation, and loss, which is a it's not a terror. I mean, it's not a good thing to feel, even though it's also swords. It's not a cups, but it's more emotional, right? So, but it's intellectual. I hope that makes sense. It's So it's more like you could it could it's not like something you did. It's more like something that's happened, like a death in the family. It's I mean sorrow, sadness, complete disruption, but yet it's it's still movement because it's a three in movement, but it's a feeling, but yet it's out of your control. It's more involved. So it's pretty much what it tells you. It's impactable. So four swords, and remember swords are squared, fixated. You have truth. So okay, we went back to like with the two. But this is more indolent. It's more like problems that are hail, joyfulness, but the policy of appeasement. It's more like I'll allow you to do this, but it's more of like an agreement, but you're happy with it, so it's a truce, promise, or advancement. You know, Five of Swords. Oopsie. Well, fives aren't good. Uh, you have defeat. After all that shit you did, and then this happens, it's like son of a bitch, right? So that's a terrible feeling, even though this is a swords, it's more still ego. Uh, it's here matters are even worse, and it just resembles from others. So it's like this son of a bitch did this, crooked or broken. I mean, it's just terrible. So, as virtue declines and corruption disagregated, this moves on. So, it's more like a draw, parallels to the cognitive phenomenon displayed before the present generation. It's disintegrated. So, let's put that one. Which, that's pretty bad. Whoopsie. I'm at 6. Sorry. But so it's wait a minute, how did I get on defeat? Sorry. All right, let's get back to Five of Swords. Sorry about that. It resembles pretty much the worst thing that can happen to the situation. So I mean, it's pretty much more like just defeat. I mean, you want to give up. It's terrible. Or you have to, really. It's defeated. So let's just leave 5 at defeated. I mean, it's just pretty much what it is. So 6 is a good one. It's called signs. So with the science, it's more like still material. It's only turned into like material things. So it's certain circumstances, the result that may be disastrous than ever. I mean, it naturally depends upon the success and what's going on around it. However, it's still in movement because it's a sex. And but you still might have like uncompromising forces, which you have to take a natural like prey to, you know. So it's compromising, really, or just a toleration of it. Actually, I jumped ahead again. It's more like all right. So it's more like the perfect balance, right? So let's put down balance. But the card itself is more towards the earthly domain and air mixed, if that makes sense. Or it could actually be pure air. Just balance, but still an energy. So that actually is a really complex card. It's like all four in one, four suits: um, air, earth, water, and ego. So it's still a movement, but it's more of a balance. So let's go with that. Okay, the Seven of Swords. Sorry, I got confused there. Seven of Swords. I'm about to jump ahead again. Seven of Swords is sorrows. Now we went back to. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. I skipped. That's wrong. This one's more sorrow. Well, Three of Swords is still pretty bad, but it's still a movement. I mean, it's like workable. I mean, it's like when you don't want. It's like movement and it's force, but yet it's I don't want to go to work. I have to. You know, it's you could just gotta do it. You gotta move on. So we're gonna put down three is more. Um, it's like movable but still moving on. Um, what's a word for that? That's moving on, but it's like forced to, but of your own doing. Or invoked. You know, people with the routines and stuff. You know, it's like it's something I got to do. All right, so now, I'm sorry, I was right. Three of Swords is sorry. Seven is fertility. Shit, sorry about that. I'm gonna start a new page. Maybe I'm getting tired. Seven swords. Now you would think Seven of Swords is bad, but it's actually not that bad. It's fertility, but it's at its highest level. And then you have your Eight of Swords. So now with fertility, it's just more of like a appeasement. So it's still pushing, but you're appeasing to the situation of, but it's still naturally depending on the policy. So it's more like a compromise to the toleration still. So let's just put, but it's still on thrusting. So it's tolerant to the situation, tolerant, but still moving on. It's like I ain't never gonna work for this motherfucker again. So it's still movement. Now your Eight of Swords is interference. Now this is an even number, but yet it can be a very major bad card. Pretty much something else has come into the situation. Really, I mean, it's I don't know. You might be like bipolar, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I like the guy, but the next day it's like, my foot hurts. I don't want to go to work. Fuck it. It's like just fuck everything. So something intellectually has screwed up the whole situation. So it's interference, but it's also a warning card that what is it that's interfering with it? The cups, discs, or wands, or whatever the nature of it is. However, even if there was like a goodness to it, there's still some kind of like, however, like, you won the lottery, but damn, you gotta pay taxes, right? That is so screwed up. Or somebody died in the family, but guess what? They want you to do this before you collect on it. It's just a completely like, what the hell are you talking about? Shit, right? So look out for Eight of Swords, even though it's a even number. I would best describe it as let's see, persistence, but intellect and a contest. It's weak. It's weak, but yet still moving on. And it also can represent an accidental interference. So like somebody hit your card, you were in a good mood, and then all of a sudden you go out front and somebody hit your damn card or something before you went to work, or the bus was running late, something like that. So it's still interference, but yet you still have control to get there. It's like, well, okay, I still got to go. So it's still moving, but something contested it. And then you have Nine of Swords. And that would be cruelty. This is a bad card, normally. So with this, it's pretty much could be like poison and just blood dripping out of the blades. It's that, or it could represent death, and it can represent other illnesses, or just complete what the hell's going on mentally. So it's more like a intellectually be more like temper and just sadistic, and it's more like the temper of it. How far can it go? How far can you throw that blade in me? I mean, it's like you got to turn it to when it's already in there. I mean, that's how bad that cruelty. So it's pretty much like death and destruction too. So it's still movement. I mean, it's like, okay, you stabbed me and turned a knife, but yet I'm still alive. Is there hope? Nope. Ten of cups. I mean, Ten of Swords. Nope. So this one is ruins. Yep, you pretty much got stabbed, and that's the end of it. But yet, it's pretty much like the destruction card of the Trump. Now let's see the Ace of Discs. Actually, I pretty much want to take a break. The Ace of Discs, but the Ace of Discs, I said it like was unknown, when you see it come up in a reading, it also is pretty much a physical and materialistic when it comes up. And the two of disc is just like change. It's a represents if you see that coming up in a reading. Okay, so we already went over the ace of disc is unknown. And then you have the two of disc. So this is change. This card just pretty much represents one above something else, the yin, the yang, but yet it's changeable. It's not really fixated if it's changeable, so it's still movement, if that makes sense. But it's still in its kind of mixed form. I think because Jupiter's in Capricorn, so let's just say it's changeable. Can't really think of another word that describes it. Changeable. I think I spelled that right. Three of this. Works. Yeah. Works in movement. So it's changeable, and then it goes through that still in a material basis form. It represents movement at its highest. So in a reading, it could actually represent a vehicle, I would say. But so it's still definitely in movement at its highest. But it's also, remember, fixated and a 3, which we said was force or power. So remember, the 4s are power, so that would be force. So the 4 of disc still in movement at its highest. So I mean, and it's also force. So also you got to recognize when you do your 2s, it can also represent 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, etc. But remember I said about the aces, they're unknown because it's new. Okay, and the 4 of disc is power. Power pretty much, it's a 4 square. So with the 4, you have more like defense of a violent activity. And then you have 5 of disc. My back and ass is starting to hurt. Okay, so with the 5 of disc, it's is worry. And of course that's emotional, but yet it's a disc. So it's materialistic. So it's but it's Mercury in Taurus. So it also represents labor. But go figure, worry and labor. But represents holding together of something also. The background is like angry, and it's effective and intense strain. So I mean, it still has like energy, I guess, because of the Mercury, but talent and work. I hear a loud truck or something outside. So it implies long continued in action. So It could be intense strain or like, oh my God, they done broke my back. I can't get up, you know. But it still has um, it's fixated because it's 5 and Mercury in Taurus. So it's labor. But yeah, I can't really use that as a definition of it though. But yeah, it's inverted and it's like the aftermath of earthquake. No, you can't continue tomorrow. You're lazy. You ain't done nothing all day anyway. So so it's what did I say? I forgot. So it's angry. You have not labored long enough. Get back to work. But it's intense strain. And then you have 6 of this. I think I'm running out of ink. Success, which is totally different than all that, right? Success. Damn, maybe your boss finally figured out that you're breaking your ass working, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to give you a raise." So that would be great, right? Because it's more energy. And it's the moon in Taurus, and it's an even number, and it's mathematically set for describing fourth the ace. So remember, the ace was unknown, new beginnings, professionally and physically, and so it's also contributed to the Sun card. So it's like more increasing approach to perfection. So that's happy. It could be happy. So 7 is complete fucking failure. Isn't that great? After all that shit I just went through, this is what freak happens, right? So number 7 is not good when it comes up in the reading either. Go figure, you got your 5s and you got your 7s, and it pretty much it could be bad money, not enough money, or a damn thing broke. Son of a bitch. You know, you get a damn box in the mail and it's the wrong shit, wrong color. So it's complete failure. So that's not good. So it pretty much says what it is. It's ugly and menacing. It's complete. You know, it's, even though it's not disappointment, it's failure. It's give up. Uh, I would say definitely give up and loss. Or at least you're gonna feel like a little loss, right? Even though it's material. So I would pretty much say, yeah, you're right. I can't use that as an example. It's more like broken. Yeah, I would say it's, well, yeah, since it's earthly, it's more not more. Yeah, we can't use give up or loss. We have to give like more what the hell uh ugly menacing, and it's spoiled. It's more like, yeah. I mean, when especially when it comes to material, it's spoiled. It's broken. And then we have 8 of this. Damn, I'm almost done. And 9 of this. And 10 of this. Okay, 8 of this is prudence, which that is a pretty good card. Let's see, this one is basically a Mercury to a spiritual aspect, so it's kind of like wands mixed with a little bit of the disc. So it's more like um, um, more lovingly, more yeah, more in definitely it was still movement, but yet not completely fulfilled. It's you're still not trusting, like, this might happen, the turn of the tides. It's like, what if this happens, or something like that, or fallens, or what if this happens, it gets lost or broken. So they're still worried to it, but yet it's intelligibly, definitely materialistic matters, especially in agriculture and foundation. So it's more like when this card comes up. So it still could represent um, retiring, or but it finished. I would definitely say it's foundation. Finished, but yeah, it's still movable. Um, it's still not complete. You got the foundation up, you got like the windows up, you got the door going on, but you got to finish a little bit of the shit inside. It's almost finished. But the disc are like there on a material level. However, the nine of disc is gain, which is great. That's not as compared to wands and swords and cups. That's great, right? So you now have the foundation up. You now have the windows up. You finished the inside, and the only thing left now is you want to get paid. But good management, and more like control, and then which takes you to excuse me, the 10, you want to get paid now, wealth. So with the wealth, that's pretty much the end of it. You completely finished the job, and the end of the whole damn thing, right? Completed. I mean, it's completely finished. Wisdom and perfect happiness. But pretty much perfected, because remember, it's a material or earthling. Okay, so we finished that. I know that was kind of hard because it's really hard to get those out. Now, I guess tomorrow night I'll go over the kings and queens and the princesses and the knights. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, and see if I can come up with something else that'll help. And also, the triage of things. What combines together. I guess he went to bed, and my chat's not working right for some odd reason. Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I don't know what you stayed for or not, but yeah, I know it. Can you read this? Because what? I heard there's somebody cussing. Probably my neighbors. Anyway, um, so you have your aces, which is your seeds. Okay, so with the seeds, it wants to know what to do. So it's either new beginnings and pure energy, which it's the creation of something. Okay, so it's either seen or unseen, known or unknown, voluntary or involuntary, invoked or natural. So then you have your twos: balance or choice, initiation and or initiate its development. Also, timing: 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. something being put into action. So twos are important. And then you have your threes, realization of action, looking to see what's being produced. So three, you finally put your thoughts and ideas or materialistic thing into movement. So then you have action, initiation, achievements, exciting and occurring, looking for good or evil at that point. So it's like, okay, is this gonna break, or what about that tire I put on last week? Is it gonna stay on? Water. And then you have your fours, perfection, realization, completion, making of the matter, settled or fixed. Remember, the fours are, with square, so it's more like fixed. So look for your stabilities or stagnations with the cards next to it. And then fives, oppositions, fights, and struggles. And fives can be mind blowing. Oppositions, fights, and struggles, war, obstacles, things at hand, ultimate success or failure is shown, negative thoughts or pain. So it's sixes, realizations or adjustments, definitely accomplishments, things carried out. So, I got to do this and that before that gets done. It's still in movement. And then you have your sevens, generally shows a force transcending the material plane that'll fuck everything up, depending on the action taken, and or if you're that crazy and do something. So it's what's around you and reflections and discoveries of wisdom. Now, eights, you have a solitary success. It's like, well, I got this, but do I want to share with them? I got this juicy cheeseburger, right? French fries, and I don't want to give you none. But so you have solitary success, but and faith and recognitions, movement of actions, possibilities. So hey, look, I might be able to do this since I got that done, but you're still moving on. So, or you can even have more opportunities. So, but not leading to much result apart from the thing itself. So you got to be careful of that too. Now, nines, very fundamental force. It's executive power because they restore a firm basis. So it's powerful for good or evil. And then you have I thought I did so it was still with the nines, fundamental force. So you still have completions, fulfillments, and building up. So, and then with tens, you have either completions, abundance, achievements of the goal, fixated, complete force, thoroughly, or definitely a determined, ultimately force. So, or you have complete destruction, death, and cruelty. Oops, sorry. And with your tens, you want to look for your princesses to see if there's level changes. Like, oh, this could come into effect, or bad weather can occur, or this could happen. And then your queens are usually the actual persons or people, or even if it's the opposite sex, can take on those characteristics of the queen. And like the queen of I think it's swords, sits objectively watching and waiting. Or you have the queen of disc, which is mated, a woman at the top. She could be your boss, or a rich woman that's or somebody looking down on you. Or the actual situation could be that it's looking in that position way down low. What queen did I forget? I forgot. Queen of Cups. She's very open and reflective. And of course it's Scorpio card, but so what's that mean? It's like, the problem could be open and reflective. It might not even be a person. It's just telling you the characteristics of the situation. It depends on what the questions you ask. So that's when the tarot card gets really complicated. Like that wasn't complicated enough, right? So especially in all these stupid books that these books could sit there and describe to you. Well, the card's blue and they're holding an anchor at the bottom of the ship. You know, that's not teaching you. But however, if you get a good deck of tarot cards, they have sigils on it, and you can sit and meditate and think of the definitions. But like I said before, some of the best definitions is these little books. However, I bought this deck of tarot cards, which is based on my deck, and beautiful cards. I like them. I played with them. They work. And I mean, it's got really great coloring. It's pretty much same except for the queens and I mean, they're less cartoonish than my deck, but really pretty colors. I like the way they're made. And but the book of the definitions, and it comes in 19 different languages, I think. But and it also shows different little spreads. But it's pointless. The definitions are completely wrong. Listen to this. Adjustment. I mean, it describes what the hell she's wearing, the sword, beautiful color, blah, blah, blah. This symbol, that symbol. And what the hell does that have to do with the damn reading, right? And it's a waste of ink. And then, upright meaning. Close your eyes and find the harmony of your own balance. Be responsible for what you add to the scales. Act justly when you apply your will. Reverse meaning. Stop making poor decisions. Take charge of your will. Understand elements of society and successful navigate them. Then what the fuck does this mean, right? This book is completely a joke. And then, of course, they have little layouts that, it's like, what the hell? But however, I like the cards. I was like, what the fuck? What the hell does that have to do with the damn cards, right? And then I was telling you last night that this was a good one, Stacy. Damn, I drop things a lot. I really need my glasses fixed. This is a semi-good book for beginners. It pretty much, except for the stupid layouts they have in it. I mean, it's just, they have to have more pages for the book. Now, if it does help with more of your numbering and astrologies and the seasons, if you really want to get into all that. And then it has like what cards are together. But I actually, it's not necessarily true what they're saying. It might be what she's interpreting, but yeah. So I mean, it's not a bad book. I'll read it just for fun, and you never know. There is some books that you get good things from. By the way, the dog's been behind my ass the whole time. Say hello, Sassies. Oh, you're so fat. I gotta stop feeding you. I can't lift you up after my operation. You're so fat. I love you. Oh, I got this book. Now this is a this is like a redone book from the days ago. This is like one of the first books that came out about the Thoth deck, and which is really hard to find any knowledge on the subject at all. So, but however, once again, it goes about describing. I had notes in that. It goes on about describing the damn card. Like I can't see the damn card. I mean, why don't they just make brailles for blind people? Not to put down blind people, but that's probably a good idea to come out with a braille tarot card. I don't know if they make it, but damn, see right there, an idea just came naturally into my brain. But it tells you and describes to you what the damn card has on it. And but when it comes to it says domains, but it says mental, quick, sharp, alert, adjustment, opportunist, sees away, emotional, changing moods, fickle, unpredictable, physical, supple, which I don't know what the hell it means, grateful, but worldly, successful, mind is touch, talented, timing, transforming, lucky, and ready. Open to the will of the gods, vehicle, servant by their design, talents, and this is the meaning. And negative, deceptive, black magic, vanity, condescending, misuse or lack of use of gifts, lack of carrying through. Which actually, that's pretty much very close to what the little book tells you to begin with. And and then on the back of the page, it shows you a little fun little layout you can do. And this is redone. I don't remember this one though, but I read this book like 20 something years ago. But however, the book I bought at page 36, instead of putting I don't know why, but it went back to the Heffron again, and instead of the devil, but and then it skips all the way to number 56. They put in the hermit instead of the devil, and remember I told you about the totally skipped it. The Devil's Horn reading. It tells you, but the book didn't give you the picture of how to lay it out. That's hilarious. I guess it was made in China. Not to put down the Chinese, but no wonder I got this book on sale, and I won't be reselling it. So I guess my time's up, and for some reason, it's not moving at all. And so tomorrow we'll go over the queens and the kings, princes, and the princess. Oh my God, ink on me. This is the receipt of that book. I paid what a deal. $9.27, but with the shipping and handling, $13. Which, hey, you know what? That was pretty decent. It only cost me $4 for shipping. Should I tell them that they're totally screwed up the pages? So once again, out of all these damn books I got, this one's not too bad. But once again, this is probably one of the better books to buy. It goes on a if you want to do the tarot for of the Tophtec, or even basic tarot. It's more intense. Now, of course, this one, where the fuck did it go? This one I had in my hands. I was reading to you. This one actually is pretty much a reprint of an old book. That Aleister Crowley, descriptions of the tarot cards by Aleister Crowley. This one goes into much more detail and has basic things that, of course, every damn little tarot card person that does come out with a reading, they'll tell you, like, if you see 4 sevens together, disappointments. Well, yeah, I guess so. Or 3 sevens together, treaties and compacts. What the hell's compacts? I don't know. 4 sixes, pleasure. 3 sixes, gain and success. 4 fives, order, regularity. Or 3 fives, quarrels and fights. If you see like 4 fives together, actually one book said it was a love triangle. And so every book will tell you something totally different. And, of course, we know if you see 4 aces together, that's like a true miracle. It's like shit coming at you all over. Right. But I would reshuffle. 3 twos, reorganization and recommendation. It's like, no, that idea is not going to work. Try something else. Right. So you basically get the knowledge of the tarot cards. It's from a seed to whether or not this thing's going to bloom or possibly reseed, or just, then you just accomplished your goal. And what's the next question? So, and then of course, with the descriptions of it. Now, of course, when you go into the trump cards, that'll take me probably 3 days to do. And if you have any questions, let me know. And then, of course, we can go into different layouts and what really works. Oh, also in this book, actually have the Hebrew way of, I know you probably can't read it, but I'll try to get it close to you. It'll show you the Hebrew way of writing the spirits of the cards correctly in Hebrew. And then you want to go, I don't read Hebrew. But it also tells you about what planetary signs are in the cards. And but it gives you a much more definition of the cards. Like, for example, the Lord of Defeat, 5 of Swords. It's complete defeat, loss, malice, spite, slander, evil speaking, whether it is upright or reversed. So that's another reason why I like doing these cards, where I don't sit there and shuffle that way. And it'll explain a little bit more than these other books. I don't waste your money on them. And I can't even resell these unless you want a fucked up one book. I can sell it to you cheap. I'm starting to itch for some reason. And then I was telling you about this book that came with the mini deck that my son destroyed. It comes with the 2 spreads for all cases. Pick a card thing, or 5 cards. But once again, tells you the descriptions of the damn cards in case you can't look at the damn cards. And then it'll say for love, happiness, and success. But they kind of like left out another element. You have air, fire, water, and material or earth. And you got, unless you're just doing relationships, I guess it would work, or questions of business. But it makes no damn sense. Like okay, like the Magus one. It says for love, if you are in love, feel the magic that lives in you. And if you fall in love, the magic in you will only need to awaken again. Happiness. You are a very special person. Do not worry. No one can take away your strictly personal opportunities. They are offered to you alone. Success. Do not make a fool of yourself. The key is to success lies in the presence of the mind of personal presence. What the fuck are they talking about? I have no idea. But yeah, this book is a dope. And of course, I told you about this one. This one is, and I spilled a drink on it by accident. This one is completely ridiculously stupid. And even her putting 2 cards together shit. And then, write it down. And you want to practice on something else. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I'm sorry I'm a bad teacher, but I hope that helped. So we went through all the aces and all the 10s. Now we'll go through the court cards, and then I guess I'll start the trump cards. It is I, Stacy, itching and back hurting. Oops. And don't forget, practice your tarots. And I'll see you again soon or later. I'll see you sometime. And I guess tomorrow night at 9, I'll try to do the court cards, which they're a lot faster. We might be able to start the trumps after that, which, like I said, I'll make better notes instead of this and then. But I think you got the gist of it, and I'm sure that's going to help you better than This is what the card looks like. The lovers, blah blah blah. This is there, and this is there, and this is that, and this is here, and then this card. And that's not teaching Bonnie anything. But I'm not making fun of anybody. But I'm just saying I don't get these books at all. Can't believe. Well, they even got me as being stupid enough to buy them. But oh, now I can see. I have a eye doctor's appointment in May, because you can't get a doctor, within the days that you need to go. You have to wait several months. It's like 3 months for every damn doctor. So anyway, I'm gonna call in tonight. Everybody, God bless and be careful. I can figure out how to stop this. Now the damn computer ain't even moving. Come on, computer. You're supposed to move.